fighting game crossovers are every gamer's dream. What characters are we gonna get to see fighting what other characters? Wolverine vs Ryo in Marvel vs Capcom, Kazuya Mishima vs Ryo in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Kyo Kusanagi vs Ryo in Capcom vs SNK. Man, does Ryo like to pick fights with all sorts of characters, huh? But also other non-Capcom crossovers, like Mortal Kombat vs DC Universe, or BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. The hype in crossover fighting games is always so high, and there are tons of crossovers that people request and are dying to see. So, today I'm here to tell you my top 5 most wanted fighting game crossovers. In this day and age, indie fighting games are all the rage. Fantasy Strike, Pocket Rumble, Fight of Gods, and Dive Kick are just some of the names that come to mind. Even some platform fighting games like Rivals of Aether or Brawlhalla. But the two that I would say are the most popular ones, at least at this point in time, and that I would love to see clash are Skullgirls vs Them's Fighting Herds. There hasn't really already been a versus indie fighting game, even though there are so many. Well, unless you count Blade Strangers, which is more of a everyone is here type of deal. But I want a head-on type of versus, franchise versus franchise. Skullgirls is based on old-timey cartoons, while Them's Fighting Herds is based on more modern cartoons. Both are extremely wacky, have unique art styles and good music, so I think the clash is a match made in heaven. We usually don't get a ton of, if any, crossover fighting games in 3D form. Yes, we have had guest characters appear in Soul Calibur, which we all remember fondly and still happen to this day. And even in Tekken 7, we have had some pretty unexpected guests. And we were so close to this with the unreleased Tekken vs Street Fighter, which for the love of God, I hope still happens. But here I am requesting an encounter between two of the giants of the genre, Tekken vs Virto Fighter. Although Virto Fighter was the original 3D fighting game, Tekken definitely took over in popularity, with Virto Fighter 5 being released almost 15 years ago, while Tekken 7 is still one of the most popular fighting games and still getting new content to this day. Tekken is owned by Namco Bandai, while Virto Fighter is owned by Sega, which they both have very good relations with one another, while Harada, director of the Tekken series, is a self-proclaimed Virto Fighter fan, so I wouldn't see this out of the realm of possibilities of happening. Just like Capcom in the 90s and early 2000s, Arc System Works has been dominating the fighting game scene for some time, making some of the best and most popular fighting games, even in the crossover aspect with BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. So I decided to pit these two giants against each other with Guilty Gear vs Street Fighter Alpha. Why Street Fighter Alpha, you might be asking yourself? Well, I love the art style, music and characters from that specific Street Fighter series. And I feel like all these, and specifically the mechanics, fit perfectly with Guilty Gear and Arc Sys vibes. Besides, the Alpha series has been dead for some time. And just like we were talking at the beginning of the video, Ryu loves to fight all sorts of fighting game characters, and I feel like they are missing that crossover with anime type fighting games. Being one of the most popular fighting game series of all time, at least in the West, a lot of people ask for Mortal Kombat to be paired up against the most popular fighting game of all time, being Street Fighter. The problem with that is that Capcom would never allow for Street Fighter characters to be ripped apart like they do in Mortal Kombat. And Mortal Kombat characters work in the same way. We see it in the Injustice series, and hopefully in Smash Bros if you ask me, but I still feel like there would be something missing. Of course if they do, I'll be there day one. But the series I think would have the perfect crossover with it would be Mortal Kombat vs Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct would be a perfect series to clash with Mortal Kombat. We really don't see their characters get as violently treated as they do in Mortal Kombat, but the game is M-rated, so it really wouldn't feel too out there. Besides, it would be a perfect opportunity to get more people to notice Killer Instinct, which in the grand scheme of things is not that popular, while being a very good and beloved fighting game series. One of the most, if not the most popular and best sold fighting games of the generation has been Dragon Ball Fighterz. It was the perfect combination of a beloved IP, one of the best developers on fighting games in Arc System Works, and one of the best publishers in Namco Bandai, giving us a stylized art style everyone enjoys, good mechanics, tons of characters, constant content updates, and lots of fans, making the perfect storm for it to be successful. Now, people await for its sequel, wondering what new characters they're going to see and what crazy new mechanics will they add. But I propose to you for it to be a crossover game, to answer the age-old question, which is the best anime, with Dragon Ball Fighterz cross Naruto? And yeah, we all know the answer to that question, at least if you're not nostalgic about it. But there is no denying the popularity of these two giant IPs, and to see them one next to the other in this way would be incredible. And yes, there have been games where they are together, like J-Stars or Jump Force, but those games really just cram in every other shonen character with them, aside from being arena fighters instead of a proper fighting game like Dragon Ball Fighterz is. I want both of them to have the spotlight, and besides, Naruto hasn't had a proper fighting game like Dragon Ball, so I think it would be the perfect opportunity for it. So there you have it, my top 5 most wanted fighting game crossovers. Let me know what crossovers do you wish to see. Let me know which of my crossovers you like or dislike, or if you think they can happen at all. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.